She was not absent. She was there every morning, every evening, every school run, and every meal and every parent-teacher meeting. She showed up consistently, without fail. But she was tired, not lazy tired, not selfish tired, the kind of tired that lives behind the eyes, the kind that comes from carrying too much for too long with too little support, the kind that means even when her body was in the room, part of her was somewhere else, somewhere no child could follow. You learned not to ask for too much. You learned to read the room, to know when she had capacity and when she did not. You learned to need less so that she could rest. And here's what nobody ever told you. That learning, the one that felt like love, has been running your life ever since.
Welcome back. This channel is about the psychology behind who we become and why. Subscribe if you're new. Let us get into it.
Children who grow up with emotionally depleted caregivers develop something psychologists call hypervigilant empathy. From a very young age, you learn to scan, to read the energy in a room before you entered it, to know from the sound of footsteps whether today was a good day or a day to be smaller and quieter. That scanning never stopped. As an adult, you walk into any room and within seconds, you know who is struggling, who is tense, who needs something. You feel the undercurrent of conversations. You notice the micro shift in someone's tone that everyone else missed. Most people call this emotional intelligence, and it is. But it started as survival. It started as a child trying to protect a mother who was already at her limit. When you grow up watching someone you love run on empty, you make a decision. Not consciously, not with words, but somewhere deep and early, you decide that your needs are negotiable, that asking is a burden, that the less you require, the safer everyone is. Research on attachment and emotional parentification, where a child unconsciously takes on the emotional caretaking of a parent, shows that these men grow into adults who are extraordinarily capable of meeting others' needs while being almost unable to identify or voice their own. They make excellent partners, excellent friends, excellent employees, and they are profoundly alone with whatever they are carrying, because asking for help still feels like putting weight on someone who is already tired.
The most significant thing a tired mother unintentionally teaches is this: love is expressed through not burdening the people you love. You did not learn this from words. You learned it from watching her, from the relief on her face when things were easy, from the invisible but felt weight when they were not. So you became easy. You became low maintenance. You became the child who was fine. And that child grew into a man who is still fine, who is always fine, who will tell you he is fine from inside a burning building. Not because he is dishonest, because he genuinely does not know how to be anything else in front of people he loves.
Here is the paradox at the center of all of this. The man raised by a tired mother learned to love deeply, genuinely, selflessly. He learned to show up, to carry things quietly, to make sure the people around him never feel the weight he is holding. And in doing all of that, he made himself almost impossible to truly know. Because the version of love he learned was one where you protect people from your full reality, where you edit yourself down to the parts that are not a problem, where you disappear a little so others can breathe. The people who love him feel it. They sense the distance without being able to name it. They know there is more, but they cannot reach it, because he learned too young and too well how to keep the weight to himself. If you were raised by a tired mother, she did the best she could with what she had. And so did you. The child who learned to need less was not broken by that lesson. He was shaped by it into someone who carries quietly, who shows up consistently, who loves without making it about himself. But you are allowed to be found now. You are allowed to need something. You are allowed to put the weight down. Not forever, just long enough for someone to see how heavy it actually is. She was tired. That was never your fault. And the love you learned from watching her survive was real. Drop a comment. Were you raised by a tired mother? Or are you raising children while running on empty yourself? I read every single one. See you in the next one.